All right. Okay. Well, once again, thank you so much for being here with us. Thank you for your time, for your energy, and also a big thank you to our previous speakers. And yeah, let's hang in there and continue getting a good Everglades education. My name is Gene Sarmiento, and yeah, I'm a little nervous, but I think we're gonna get through it, and we'll be all right. All right. Well, first, I would like to talk about our environment. Then I would like to talk a little bit about native plants, as well as the role native plants will play in the restoration and healing of the environment. And finally, I would like to address the leaders of South Florida in regards to native plants and policies and what we can do to work together to achieve Everglades restoration goals. Okay, well, let's begin. So this year we were inspired with this theme of giving back. Giving back, let's give back. We have to give back now. Giving back to our Everglades, giving back to our environment, giving back to our world, giving back to each other. The more we were inspired by this theme, the more obvious it became that we have to give back. That if life is to continue on Earth, giving back has to become the new model, the rule, where we live in a world where harmony in nature is the law of the land. Just look around, not just here in the Everglades, but across the globe. These powers that shouldn't be have no interest in changing this model, where we continue to divorce ourselves from nature and where we demand more and more and more and continue depleting what the world provides, yet depending on nature every day for everything we need and for everything we do to stay alive. Because right now we owe. Right there, the previous one. Right now we owe. Let us look back for a minute. What of the birds that have been forever lost? What of all the endangered species? What of all the habitats that have disappeared? What of the destruction of all the fish and marine life that we've witnessed just this year alone? How intelligent can the ones at the helm really be if we're losing 30,000 species per year? If we're heading into what scientists are calling 6X, the next mass extinction? The current state of our planet has set the context, so we find ourselves here, now, in the struggle to preserve the earth. I would like to share something an elder of ours told us once. She told us that the pollution we're seeing in the world was a result of the pollution in our minds, the way we think and how we treat each other. And it's true. Just look at the facts. When have we never not been at war? The CDC says between 437,000 to 468,000 murders take place per year worldwide. And that ignorance and that violence is reflected in our water. That made me think a lot about what kind of future are we heading into? What kind of world are we preparing our children for? It also let me imagine what it would look like if we didn't kill each other for a whole year, and how that would reflect across our planet. How would it look in our environment? Or do we continue the route that we're going, consumed by our hatred and fear of one another? Perhaps some of you remember when Michael Frank told us the stories of his grandfathers and how they said that people would come and take and take and take. Well, all our elders in the Americas told us this. And they didn't tell us this so we can just watch the great tragedy come to pass. And if I'm lying, then why are we seeing what's happening now? So much battles concerning the Everglades we can barely keep up. Destruction of habitats, seismic testing, monkey testing, phosphorus mining, bear hunting, fracking, FPL, polluted water, etc., etc. Hell, it doesn't stop. And it's clear if we leave it up to these folks, they're going to turn the Everglades into a Brita filter and project us into a world that... Go to the next one. The next slide, please. Next one. And they will project us into a world that looks like Spaceball City. Not an ounce of green. And at the end of all these wasteful projects, are we going to be better off? Are we going to have a better quality of life? Now, I'm not here to condemn anybody. And in a way, we all share the blame, but we also share the burden of this responsibility. But like I said, I'm not here to condemn anyone. On the contrary, I would like to extend gratitude for the things well done and for the good people out there that sincerely do their best at their jobs for the best interests of others. You know, we enjoy many comforts and privileges, like electricity, for example. But what I'm begging is, as we move forward into the future, allow what we create be steered by human considerations rather than economical. Consider life. Please, let's do better. We can do better. For my great fear is that if we mess this up, our children will condemn us all. Let them get older and watch an episode of BBC Planet Earth, and then this world will be a wasteland for them. I'm afraid they're going to burn this place down. I mean, that's what I fear. But I will say this to the forces out there that uphold injustice and think that they can do as they please to the earth with no regard for any life. You owe big time, and your time is running out. You guys are going down. By the strength and authority of natural and universal laws, may the forces that uphold injustice crumble and perish. You see, because this work, restoration, this is for the people that care. This is for the ones that have picked up the fire of their ancestors, and that's why we will inherit the earth and not them. That kind of psyche. We empower what we put energy into. We empower what we put energy into. So let us put energy into the vision of a new world, to see the world in a new way, with awareness, where it is common to teach the little ones about the dignity, value, and sacredness of all life. Let us project a world where we've engendered a new way of living that we don't even consider the thought of polluting, where we create kids that can stay in a functional world. We need to fall back in love with the world. This is about inspiring and empowering you. And the best way that I have found to reestablish those bonds is through the plant kingdom, which is why I'm so adamant about native plants, for I have seen the power of that potential. This is where the solutions lie. This is how we nourish the world. Loss of biodiversity and invasive species are a problem everywhere. So restoring native species is applicable everywhere, and everybody can do it. Let us not forget that the plant kingdom is the cornerstone of climatic balance, and we have now the grand opportunity to preserve what we still have, to restore what's been lost, and to conserve for our futures. Now, before I stress the importance of our native species here in South Florida, let's first take a look at some of the non-natives in our community. Okay, this is something I was calling Meet the Non-Natives. So this is your typical Florida lawn. You could see a couple of mini palms, cardboard palms, some crotons, liliotope grass. It's usually accompanied by a big green lawn, big, little. But no nutrition for our wildlife. You know, the next slide. Oyster plants, Category 1 invasive, originally from Belize, from Guatemala. All parts are poisonous. I'm sure you've seen these around because they are everywhere. And sadly, a lot of people pay money to put these in their landscape. Next slide. Cardboard palm. No nutrition for our local pollinators. You can see the cardboard palm looks very, very similar to our endangered kunti. All parts of the plants are poisonous. And the crazy thing is that they're from southeastern Mexico, but in southeastern Mexico, they're a vulnerable species because people go out and take them from the wild so they could sell them, and they end up here and we buy them. And they provide no nutrition for our pollinators. And why are you going to plant the non-native when you can plant the native kunti, a plant with the legend behind it, a plant that is an endangered species, that is a host plant to our Atala butterfly? I mean, it's a simple choice. The next one, Schefflera. I'm sure you guys have seen this one. Extremely overused and does not provide any nutrition. It's native to Taiwan, and it demands more water. However, it does make a great house plant. It will clean the air for you, so that's a reuse that we can do with that one. Okay. So the new fear is the Zika, and now we're spraying all this stuff that's adding to the compromise of more flora and fauna. But a lot of times, and I see this all the time, when you have just a bunch of bromeliads, and if they're mosquito magnets, and if you're not taking the necessary steps to continuously be on top of it, what do you think was going to happen? Of course you're going to have mosquitoes. Our traveler's palm, it's another palm from Madagascar. It's another palm that collects water, stagnant water, and always a lot of mosquitoes around. So if we're creating an environment for mosquitoes to thrive, and at the same time we don't have healthy habitats for our natural biocontrols to survive, we open it up for more chemicals that end up in our air, water, and our bodies. What of the purple martin, our precious wrens, warblers, and dragonflies, the Florida bonneted bat, all of these species that all eat mosquitoes. And now they're subject to all this spraying that's going on. How is that going to affect them? Excuse me. Okay. And what I'm saying is we can do better. Let's do better. And why native species? Because once you decide that planting natives is important to you, we can change the game. We can start tipping the scales and begin to see a bounce back in plant and animal life. Let us reestablish corridor for migrating birds. Let us protect our food production, our crops, by creating and maintaining healthy habitats for our pollinators. But we need to create this. We have the power to create this in our homes, in our businesses, our cities, our parks, the empty lots, surplus land, county surplus land. All we got to do is build it. And then we build more of it. At times, sourcing plants can be a challenge, but thankfully so many good people have done the work, and we have mega resources to learn from. We have more power. And I love the Everglades. We have a native plants tab where you can find a bunch of information that we've compiled, and is there for everybody. This here, and I just wanted to also mention, this is Everglades Sisma's invasive curve. They've done a very good job at plotting this out for us. And as you can see, as the more the time goes by, the more the cost to remediate an invasive or exotic species, and the harder it is to get rid of. Okay. Invasive species are costing us $120 billion per year. As well, our agriculture industry, 70%, $1.5 billion. These are big numbers. It would behoove us to have healthy environments for our pollinators, wouldn't it? So, actually, go to the next one. Next one. These are a couple of pictures of my company, Sunkeeper Solutions, just a few pictures of gardens that we've created. As you can see, we do a different kind of lawn using mimosas, Charlie Creeper, corgi stem, flower beds with about 30 different species in there. And it's every single time, buzzing with life all the time. It doesn't, if it happens, maybe every single time you put the plants back, the animals return. Next slide. The last thing I want to address is that on the one hand, there is advocacy for native species, but on the other, we aren't really seeing much of those reflections in our community, in our towns and communities. And I would like to help bridge that gap. I do want to highlight the good work happening. For example, I hear the Dade County Resiliency Office is doing mangrove pilot programs. I know it's in the county's plans to have more canopy and corridor, and all of you good people. So I'm optimistic. Finally, one of the things we would like to see, next slide. One of the things that we would like to see is the reprinting and wider distribution of the Go Native photo guidebook. These are amazing, and the numbers showed that when these were distributed in the community, people started planting a lot more natives. Also, has it been considered at the public works departments to plug in some kind of invasive species removal unit, where guys go around removing oyster plants, cutting down Brazilian peppers, and taking out all types of class 1 invasives, things like that, you know? I also feel this would not only provide jobs, but would also boost our economy and save the county's money as well. Another initiative that we would like to see manifest statewide is the Florida Wildflower Resolution. As you can see, the counties in greens are the ones that have adopted the resolution. The others are not. Here in Dade County, we're a bit behind, but this is something that we wish to change. And basically, this is a resolution calling for more wildflowers along the state's highways. We see it in Broward, and there's some really beautiful drives when you're going up the 95 and places that already have this. And this is just a smaller, if we can accomplish the whole state to get on board with this policy, we'll be seeing restoration on a significant level. It will be a tremendous bounce back in the pollinators that migrate and our local pollinators. So, again, I just want to remind you, let's do better. We can do better. Let's be nicer to each other. Let's be nicer to the environment. Plant native species. And adopt the wildflower resolution statewide. And support native-friendly policies. Next slide. And again, preserve, restore, conserve. One love, Florida Everglades. Thank you all so very much.